Engage, engage, engage. Coach Massi here from M2 Speed, Strength, and Performance with another episode of Move Your Feet. In the last episode, we went over the frames of movement prep. We went through the first frame of movement prep. Actually, it was considered activation. So I'm going to call Coach Matt in. In the activation phase, we basically talked about it being as if someone got into the car and turned the key to start the engine. Just as a reminder before we illustrate that, in our opinion, it was soft tissue work, it was static, it was low range mobs, it was no or low resistance, it was slow deliberate tempos. Our goal was really postural efficacy. Please go back to the last episode in the frames of movement prep to take a look at that, so we really don't have to go over it too much this time. But just as a reminder, so we kind of shook you to wake you up in bed to let you know that that was activation, something's about to happen. We're now going to basically refer to this and kind of make a correlation or analogy to a race. When you're going to go train, it's going to be like a race. So the first frame, which was that activation frame, would be like, once again, if Matt got in the car, turned the key, and started the engine. Vroom, vroom. So that would have been the last frame of movement prep we talked about. Now, today, being that we're talking about engagement, that would be as if Coach Matt put the car in gear and pulled up to the line for the race. Bang! He's getting ready to go before he takes the RPMs up. You can get that off frame, Matt. So today we're going to go through the engagement frame. The engagement frame of movement prep. Now where it basically gets different is we're going to have dynamic motion, we're going to have range, and we're going to have more of a tempo or speed. So when we talk about engagements, Matt, we're talking about it's going to be dynamic or in motion, it's going to be a broader range of motion, it could be no or low resistance, like for example, skipping, shuffling, etc. It'll be of a moderate tempo or speed, and once again, we're going to have a goal of maintaining postural efficacy, but also incorporating the biomechanics that are required for movement. So let's go over the couple of exercises we did last time in the activation phase, but let's show them how we turn that into engagement. So the first exercise we did, you want to pull over this way a little bit, but the first activation we did was called the half moon sumo prep, and it was static. And that's where Matt basically picked the foot up, half moon, put it down, give him another shot of what that looks like. Picks the foot up, brings it back in. And we're going to have him concentrate on picking it up and putting it down. And we want to make sure the client didn't flex laterally. We talked about that last time. Give him a shot, picking it up, putting it down, picking it up. So you see, that's a low range type of mode. It's got low resistance, it's a slow, deliberate tempo. We're trying to maintains postural efficacy. Activation, last episode. You can keep that on, but we're going to actually go into how we make that dynamic. It's super simple. He's going to have it on both ankles once again. Go over to the frame here. And all he's going to do, before he even goes, he's simply going to take the half moon sumo, good postural efficacy, and he's going to make it dynamic. It's not rocket science, okay? Give him a shot of what that looks like. Picks it up, brings that back foot. Picks it up, brings that back foot. Picks it up, brings that back foot one more time. And rest, stay right there. Now you may want to have him exaggerate that a little bit. He may want to look more like a sumo wrestler getting prepared, where he picks it up and puts it down. Go ahead, Matt. Pick it up, put it down. Pick it up, put it down. And the reason this is important, the half moon is going to turn into another engagement exercise and rest. I'm also a big proponent of remain involved with your client. This is a low risk engagement exercise, prepping them for movement, where you can stand in front of them and you can throw them a light ball, a moderately heavy medicine ball, and it keeps their trunk engaged, but not only that, it keeps you engaged. You're part of the session. This is the worst thing to see when you see somebody with them. If a coach is like what's up? Get involved. So low risk on that. Now Matt, take that off. Let's get prepped up for the next movement. The next movement we did was we took a super band and we actually did like a lateral stepping oppositional pull. Let's go into static first. Yeah, that would be fine. Either one doesn't really matter. We're going to stay in the static first, which means we're not moving. We're not going to be in dynamic motion. And all he did was he fed the band through itself. And he's being a little particular because he's correct. It does need to feed a particular way so you get that proprioceptive quality when you're pulling. He's going to set it on a kneecap. It's a little easier to do in shorts than it is in sweats, but there we go. Don't knock me out. You got it? Okay. So he's down there, he's on his patella, and what he's going to do is he's going to sit. Let's stay with the static here, and let's just go with out, back in. Go ahead. Again. Good. And you're going to see, you want to have this adjustment. Let me do this here. You don't want to have this adjustment to where, but pull that. This part here might even look like, you know, the knee brace where it has the hole there. So that's a little better look there. Sit down, and he may even, because there's a little bit of slack here, want to adjust that tension with his hand. And let's do it in the static range again. He was just stepping and pulling. You want to make sure he's not collapsing, not getting valgus on that back knee or hip. And as you can see, that band starts to walk a little bit, but essentially it's easier when somebody has shorts on. Now Matt, if we were going to do that in motion, what do we have to do? Pull and step. That's how we make it dynamic now. No big deal. So let's start over here on this end. Let's not go too far off frame. And you should have a little bit more space there, but you can go down there a little bit. There you go. Good. So he's going to sit down his hips, and he's going to pull and step and recover. That's it. It's just got dynamic. You're still looking for good posture and rest. You're just engaging now. You're putting that dynamic movement into the entire frame. You're getting prepped. And lastly, what we want to look at is, Matt, if we can go back to the yellow mini band on the ankles, another form of engagement would be something we call super reach recover. And the reason we like the super reach recover, it sort of progresses, in a sense, the half moon sumo step. You're able to really put a distance in your step. And this is where you can start to diagnose if people are sort of experiencing weaknesses across their horizontal line, if they have a tendency to flex laterally. And it can be done with or without resistance, which is the beauty of it. I'm sure some people do it already. I'm going to do it without the band. I start in my power pillar. I have good postural efficacy here. My chest is tall, my back is straight, my spine is neutral. I'm going to super reach. And when you see somebody super reach, what you're looking for on this already is, did that toe leak out? Did I collapse one way or the other? I think I look pretty good. And then recover. Super reach. Whoosh, recover. Now it looks simple, but when you put some speed into it, or more speed, it can get a little sticky. You'll see, maybe while I'm stepping that way, I'm breaking down and flexing this way laterally. So, he has the bands on. He's going to be a much better illustration at this. Sit down, Matt, and show him, even if you snap the band, show him a good super reach, recover. Super reach, recover. It's not that easy to do. Are you lighting up your glutes? Yeah, keep going, Matt. What I'm looking for is what's happening in his toes. Are his toes leaking? Is his entire hip leaking? Is he flexing laterally one way or the other against the movement? Is he getting kyphotic? Let's come back this way. Try to drag it down right to your lateral malleus on your ankle bones, all the way down. Good. He sits, boom, and super reach, recover. Super reach, recover. That's a good one. Boom. One more, and rest. Perfect. Well, that was a short episode, but I do want to review the differences once again. Please go back to the activation phase. See what that looks like. That's where you get in the car and you merely start the engine. You're letting your body know this is frame one of the movement prep frames. We're going to get ready to do something. It was in our opinion, static, soft tissue, low range moves, no or low resistance, slow, deliberate tempo. Today we talked about engagement, dynamic, broader range of motion, no or low resistance, moderate tempo or speed. And the basic difference is really the dynamic motion, the range, and the speed, which promotes biomechanics in space. We also like this because we give our people frames of reference. We can say, hey, did you activate? Oh, did you engage? And then the next video you're going to see is going to be the actual ignition phase, or the ignition frame of movement prep, and that's going to be a little bit more exciting. Until next time, though, this is Coach Massi from M2 Speed, Strength, and Performance, saying that greatness is forged, not fabricated. That's your day.